Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Sweet mother of mercy, Broncos country, buckle up. Because your Denver Broncos just went into Atlanta and absolutely mollywopped the Falcons in a way we have not seen since the golden days of Super Bowl 33. We are talking about a first half so lopsided, so violent, so downright disrespectful that Falcons fans were reportedly sprinting for the exits before halftime even hit. And the wildest part? The guys everyone paid their hard-earned money to see were not even suited up. No Bo Nix, no Marvin Mims, no Jaleel McLaughlin in the first half, no J.K. Dobbins, doesn't matter. The Broncos still turned Mercedes-Benz Stadium into a graveyard, and by the time the dust settled, the scoreboard read 27-7 Denver. And honestly, that final score does not even begin to capture just how thoroughly Atlanta got run out of their own building. Stick around, because we are breaking down every single highlight that has Broncos country buzzing right now, and trust me, there is a lot to unpack. If you are new here, do yourself a favor and smash that subscribe button right now. Drop a like on this video, because we are about to take you through the full breakdown of why this preseason opener has Denver fans dreaming bigger than ever. Let's start with the obvious storyline, because it is the one everybody is talking about. Sean Payton has officially handed over play-calling duties, and for the first time in what feels like forever, we saw him standing on that sideline, not barking calls into a headset, but just talking things over with officials, almost like a proud dad watching his kid drive the car for the first time without grabbing the wheel. And what a debut it was for whoever is calling this offense now, because the operation looked crisp, the uniforms looked absolutely fire under those Atlanta lights, and the Broncos marched right down the field like they had something to prove. And they did. Because despite missing basically every offensive weapon Broncos fans circled on their calendars this summer, Denver still put together an opening drive that was a straight-up thing of beauty. Bo Nix, for the record, is fine. He had a strong workout before kickoff. There are pictures floating all over social media of him slinging the ball with zero hesitation, and his ankle looks completely healed up. But Sean Payton was not about to throw his franchise quarterback behind a patchwork offensive line missing multiple starters, so instead we got to watch Jarrett Stidham run the show, and let me tell you, Broncos country, he did not disappoint. That opening drive covered 69 yards, produced 4 first downs, and here is the stat that should make every single AFC West rival nervous. The Broncos' starting offense picked up more first downs on that one single opening possession than the entire Atlanta Falcons offense managed in the whole first half. Read that again. One drive from Denver's starters outproduced an entire half of football from the home team. That is not domination, that is an execution. Now let's talk about the man who might have just changed the entire complexion of the Broncos' backfield. Because rookie running back Jonah Coleman looked like an absolute problem out there. This kid was hitting the hole with patience, then exploding through it with a burst that had Broncos country immediately drawing comparisons to a healthy Javonte Williams in his prime. Coleman turned what should have been a modest gain into an easy first down simply by sticking his foot in the ground and bursting through the middle instead of dancing to the outside. And if you know anything about this offense, you know that decisiveness is exactly what Sean Payton craves out of his backs. He showed off his hands catching the ball out of the backfield. He held his own in pass protection, which frankly is the part of his game that translates the least from college and the part that had scouts most curious, and he answered every single question with authority. And here is the part that should have the rest of the NFL sweating. Denver now has 3 legitimate weapons in that backfield. You have got Coleman, who profiles as a bruising, downhill inside runner with legitimate receiving chops. You have got R.J. Harvey, who brings home run speed and the ability to bounce things outside and turn nothing into everything. And once healthy, you have got J.K. Dobbins, a proven every-down workhorse who can do a little bit of everything. Spread those 3 across 16, 17, 18 games, and you have got a cheat code sitting in Denver's backfield that very few teams in this league can even dream about matching. And can we please talk about Courtland Sutton for a second? Because every single reporter, every talking head, every so-called insider who spent this offseason writing his obituary needs to sit down and watch this tape on repeat. Sutton hauled in a one-handed grab that should honestly be illegal, using his offhand, mind you, to snatch the ball away from a defender who had no business getting beat that easily, and he did it while making a grown man look like a small child in the process. That catch alone should end any conversation about this man's decline. And then, on that very same opening drive, Sutton comes back and hauls in a gorgeous deep shot down the sideline, showing off exactly the kind of veteran savvy and body control that made him one of the most reliable targets in Denver for years. Now here is a fun little wrinkle for you. On that same deep shot, there was actually a wide-open receiver on the opposite side of the field who might have walked untouched into the end zone, all because tight end Evan Engram had dragged 3 different Falcons defenders over to his side of the field just by running his route. That is the kind of gravity a dangerous tight end creates, and it is exactly why this Denver passing attack is going to be so difficult to defend all season long. Speaking of which, keep an eye on Pat Bryant, because the training camp buzz around him is officially real. Bryant ran a beautifully sharp dig route on a gorgeous little play-action call, stopping on an absolute dime to create separation that had defensive backs grabbing at air, and hauled in a catch that looked more like a veteran route runner than a young receiver still finding his footing in this league. If Denver is going to bring play action back into the offense this season after largely abandoning it last year due to a shaky running game, expect Bryant to be a major beneficiary. Now let's flip over to the defense, because Broncos country, this might be the most exciting storyline of the entire night. Last season, the Denver defense had one glaring hole, and Sean Payton has been loud and clear about it all offseason. They were not creating takeaways. Sean Payton has said publicly that the difference between a good defense and an elite defense comes down to exactly that: taking the ball away, and on Thursday night, this defense showed Broncos country receipts. The pass rush was an absolute problem from the opening whistle. Jonathan Cooper, who Broncos fans can breathe easy about now that there is no suspension cloud hanging over his head this season, was living in the backfield alongside Nick Bonito. And together those two turned Tua Tagovailoa's pocket into a war zone before he could even finish his drop. And then there is Jonah Ellis, the camp darling who has been quietly building a reputation as one of the most disruptive young pass rushers on this roster. Ellis got directly involved in forcing the Broncos' first turnover of the game, batting a pass at the line that popped up into the waiting hands of cornerback Riley Moss for the interception. And listen, Broncos country, remember this name, because it was Jonah Ellis who a couple seasons back turned an entire game around by pressuring a quarterback into a pick six that Pat Surtain cashed in against the Raiders. This dude has a knack for changing football games with his motor alone, and after battling injuries last season, he looks fully healthy and fully dangerous heading into this year. And can we talk about Riley Moss for a second? Because this man has heard every single piece of trade speculation Broncos country threw at him this offseason and decided to answer it the only way that matters: with his play. That interception was gorgeous, tracking the deflected ball in the air and coming down with total control, and it set the tone for exactly the kind of turnover-hungry defense Denver has been building toward. And then, just when you thought the defense could not top itself, rookie cornerback Jahdae Barron stepped up and delivered maybe the single biggest play of the entire night. Barron read a tipped pass off a deflection at the line, snatched it clean out of the air, and took off on a 97-yard house call, sprinting the distance of nearly the entire field to put Denver up 24-0 before the half was even over. 97 yards, Broncos country. That is not just a highlight, that is a statement. A rookie first-round pick who has taken his fair share of criticism this offseason just delivered the signature moment of this entire preseason opener, and it could not have come at a better time, because that pick six turned what might have been a manageable 17-7 or 17-3 halftime deficit for Atlanta into an absolute demoralizing avalanche. Let's not forget about the trenches either, because this defensive front is legitimately scary. The Broncos' starting defense came out and forced a 3-and-out immediately against Atlanta's top offensive unit, and things simply snowballed from there. Atlanta's offense could not find any rhythm whatsoever, getting stonewalled possession after possession, and by the time the first half wrapped up, the numbers told the entire story all by themselves. 11 first downs for Denver compared to a single first down for Atlanta. 167 yards of offense for the Broncos compared to a measly 28 yards for the Falcons. 45 rushing yards for Denver against just 6 rushing yards for Atlanta. That is not a football game, Broncos country. That is a public execution. And when your starting defense is that dominant, it also means the backup units get thrown into the fire earlier than expected, which is exactly what happened, and even then, the pressure never let up. Watching the second and third string defenders continue to create chaos speaks volumes about the overall depth Denver has built on that side of the ball. It genuinely feels like the rest of the NFL would kill to have some of Denver's backups as their starters, and that kind of depth is exactly what wins championships in December and January when injuries start piling up. So where does this leave us heading into the rest of the preseason, Broncos country? Sean Payton has officially stepped back from play calling, and the operation still looks spotless. Jonah Coleman looks like he might be a true difference maker in that backfield. Cortland Sutton just silenced every doubter with one ridiculous grab. Pat Bryant is proving every bit of that training camp hype was earned. And on defense, this secondary might genuinely be the best unit in all of football. Loaded from top to bottom with Riley Moss, Jahdae Barron, Jaquan McMillian, and of course Pat Surtain anchoring things down. Add in a pass rush that already looks unstoppable with Cooper, Bonito, and Ellis all healthy and hunting quarterbacks, and it becomes very clear very quickly why the phrase getting thrown around Broncos country right now is Super Bowl or bust. This team just went into a hostile environment, without its franchise quarterback, without multiple offensive weapons, and did not just win, it dominated from start to finish. 27-7 does not even tell the whole story of just how one-sided this game actually was. There is still so much preseason football left to play, and there are already whispers of a few AFC contenders looking shaky in their own preseason openers, which should only add more fuel to the fire for Broncos country heading into the rest of camp. So if this breakdown got you as fired up as it got us putting it together, do not scroll past without smashing that like button. Drop a comment down below and let us know which player from this game has you the most excited heading into the rest of the season. And if you have not already subscribed to the channel, now is the time, because we are covering every single storyline all season long. Right here for Broncos country, let's ride into this season together. Go Broncos!